Concept art. Almost every game, movie, or some other third thing has concept art behind it. It's very important when wanting to create a game or film that concept art is used to flesh out the vision of the creator. Sometimes the first concept isn't always the best, however, and a design can go through many iterations before it gets to the one that the director actually smiles upon. I've always found it interesting to look at the concept art of stuff I enjoy and seeing what could have been. Sometimes I'll find a design that actually looks really cool and makes me sad that it didn't make it in, and other times I'll find... what the fuck? But regardless of whether the concepts are good or bad or ugly, I still think they're really interesting. So I wanted to take a look at one of my favorite game series, Sonic the Hedgehog, because man, it's got some interesting stuff. I think for this we should start at the very beginning. The first human inhabitants of the Japanese archipelago have been traced back to prehistoric times around 3000 BCE. So before 1991, when Sonic became Sega's mascot, the closest thing they had to one was this dude called Alex Kidd. But in 1990, Sega thought they needed a stronger mascot who could compete with Nintendo's mascot Mario. So Sega held an internal competition where anyone in the company could submit their design for what the mascot could look like. According to Sonic Retro, there's apparently 200 designs that were submitted, which is way more than what I've found, holy crap. Most of these images come from a Japanese videotape promoting Sonic 3, which I encourage you to watch because it's actual gold.
Pound!
Without further ado, let's look at some of the concepts. First up is this rabbit drawn by artist Naoto Oshima, who submitted several other designs, but this one's probably the closest to what Sonic would end up looking like. The other designs being a wolf character, a bulldog, a guy, a very rotund human character who would become Dr. Eggman, and this sassy looking Elvis bird, which I absolutely love. This bird would also end up being a predecessor for a character called Sharps the Parakeet. Now remember that parakeet, he's gonna be very important later on. Oshima would later state that he was at a loss, so the competition that I mentioned earlier was held, hence some of these designs. One design is of a warrior kid wearing his wolf outfit and this devilish clown holding a string puppet. It also took me a while to notice that his shoes have eyes and teeth. Yeah, the kids are gonna love that. I'm a bit unsure if the clown was supposed to be an antagonist to the kid or another design for the mascot. You'd definitely make a good antagonist for sure. The next design is this wind-up robot who could be piloted by this kid on his head. I think this design looks really cool. I love the clunky steampunk vibe he gives off, but I don't think he's got that mascot feel to him. Behind him seems to be this, thing. Appears to have pants on his head, a baseball bat, a baseball glove, and a baseball. I can't make out what's going on down there, though. I'm kinda scared of this one. I get the feeling he's about to do something heinous, like break my windows. If anyone thinks they know what this is, I'd love to hear it in the comments. These. I like them. They're cute. This first one depicts a derpy looking porcupine with a little apple in his hand, and I love him and I want to hug him, and even though it would hurt a lot, and even though I've only known him for a few days, if anything happened to him, I'd kill everyone in this room and then myself. Next is this angry bird who looks like he's about to tell me he knows my IP address. Once again, pretty cute. And these next three were designed by Yasushi Yamaguchi, sorry if I butchered that name, which shows this warrior looking fella and depicts him through different stages of his life. It's a cool design, but obviously far from what the chosen design would end up looking like. Yamaguchi would come up with another design, however, one of a spiky character who could go at high speeds and roll up into a ball, a character that was coincidentally very similar to a character that Oshima had also created, named Mr. Hedgehog. So they piled up their ideas into this new blue hedgehog character, and that's when Sonic the Hedgehog began to take shape. Yeah, Sonic got a girlfriend. I'll try not to talk about this one too much because you probably heard this a lot by now if you've been in the Sonic community, but yeah. Before Police! Oshima had a concept that Sonic would have a girlfriend named Madonna, based off of the singer. Along with this, Sonic would be a part of a band featuring characters Max the Monkey, Mock the Rabbit, and Sharps the Parakeet. There's that parakeet again. and Vector the Crocodile. According to Naka, the band would be seen in the sound test Sonic 1, and would be playing music from the Japanese band Dreams Come True, while Sonic breakdances in front of them. But sadly, the band idea and Madonna would be canned.
Why would they cut this?
Well, Madonna was cut for 2 reasons, from 2 different people. Madeline Schroeder, the product manager of Sonic the Hedgehog and self-proclaimed mother of Sonic, said it was because they needed to soften up Sonic for American audiences. And Yuji Naka states that it was because they didn't want to follow the damsel in distress cliche, which is reasonable. The band was cut because of time constraints, but not all of these ideas would go unused. A character called Madonna Garnet in the Archie comics would be based off of the original Madonna, only now she's not Sonic's girlfriend and instead an agent of Gun. Max Mach and Sharps would also cameo in the Archie comics as well as the IDW comics, and the idea of Sonic in a band would be used in the 1999 show Sonic Underground. So while these ideas ultimately made a smaller appearance later on, it's neat that some haven't forgotten about them. But come on, you can't just make a character this cool and barely use him. And now I think I'll just go over some other random concepts I came across while making this video. I think a lot of these have already been covered by other people and are pretty well known, so I won't talk about each for too long. When the time came to make Sonic Adventure, some new characters were to be introduced. One of those characters being God's gift to man and global treasure Big the Cat. There's quite a bit on this guy. All of these I believe were drawn by Yuji Uekawa. Sonic Retro states that the design takes a lot of design cues from the cat-like character from Hayao Miyazaki's films, which I assume means the cat bus from My Neighbor Totoro. But now that I'm thinking about Totoro, I can kind of see a little bit of him in there. One design showcases Big's immense size by comparing him to Sonic. In this, he also has eyes more akin to the cat bus. I think this one's my favorite. He's just a very sleepy looking cat. Not much to say here other than I love the expression. I'm noticing a lot of the difference here are in the eyes. I guess they couldn't decide on one. Here he's got these blackened eyes with a white pupil. Kinda reminds me of the eyes on Storm the Albatross. Wonder if Storm's design was actually directly influenced by this. Another character introduced in Sonic Adventure was E102 Gamma, drawn up by Yuji Uekawa. I love him. He's just got a fun design with all the wacky proportions and his derpy robot eyes. I love him. For Sonic Adventure 2, the brooding loner and Tumblr sexy man, Shadow the Hedgehog, made his debut. This piece of concept art was done by Kazuyuki Hoshino. I'm sorry. And Yuji Uekawa. These are really interesting. I prefer the final design over them, but they have some really interesting details. I love the ones by Hoshino. He's got this face scar that seems to have blinded him in one eye, and this sunglasses visor thingy, menacing pose where he looks like he's about to beat me to death, and this absolutely ripped body, like what the heck. And the designs by Yukawa are also really cool. Here we can start to see some of the elements of the final design take shape, like the basic shape of his jet Nikes and the spiked up hair, which definitely gives him a unique silhouette. The one glowing eye is an interesting choice. Reminds me of the harsh eyes of Metal Sonic, so yeah, cool stuff. Years later in Sonic 06, another new Hedgehog character would be introduced, a psychic time traveler and reckless driver, Silver the Hedgehog. Here's his many concepts. I couldn't find much on the artist. I believe their name is Yoshinari Amaike. Once again, I'm very sorry. And they've worked on many Sonic games over the years as a character artist. And man, does this guy have some interesting and very different designs. The first ones are pretty wild. The first thing I notice is that he's got more spikes on his head than any other Sonic character I've seen. The boots and the gloves, though, don't look that too far off from the final design. The next one, they seem to have tried this headband look on him, which gives his spikes a flowery kind of look. Pretty unique. The next one's got a lot going on. The eye catcher here is that he's got these neat little patterns that go across all his body. Kind of looks like the lines you see on a motherboard. And unlike the others, his quills seem to be much more tamed. He's got some scrunched up in the back. Next up, oh yeah, it's all coming together. We got some eyeshadow going on, and the forehead quills that the final design would keep. Only significant differences are the shoes being more rounded and the chest hair. Can't be a chest hair, what do you call that? Looking like a dragonfly landed on him. The next two are the last ones before the final design, and he now has some color. Not too much difference here, other than his shoes become boots and his chest hair. No, that sounds weird. It can't be called that. chest fur? Sounds better, I think. His chest fur is poofier, and he's got these psychedelic eyes. And, yeah, that's about it. And now that the bulk of what I wanted to show is over with, I thought I'd show this off. Yeah, it's Sonic in a Legend of Zelda temple, standing in front of the Triforce. I thought this was fan art at first, but no, it's official art from Sonic Lost World. Apparently they did a Skyward Sword DLC for Lost World back in the day, which I had no idea existed for some reason. Sorry if this seems out of place, but I just found this by accident and thought I'd bring it up. And yeah, that's the concept art I wanted to talk about. I found making this video a very interesting experience. I learned stuff I never knew about something I liked and saw all the various iterations of how a lot of that stuff was made. And it also just thought it was really cool how even though a lot of the designs were rejected, some were eventually used. Used, unfortunately, not in the big way originally intended, but still picked up even though they could have been easily neglected. That's just really cool to me. I'm thinking I'll make a part 2 just to talk about some more of this stuff because there's a load of things that I missed. Anyway, how do I close out this video? Sharps the Parakeet.